right? Today I'm coming from, because I read the Proverbs every day, right? 31 Proverbs, 1. Today the first proverb. But not the whole proverb that caught me. This right here. I'm going to start at 28, verse 28. Chapter 1, verse 28 to 33. And it says, it's Old King James, you know. Then shall they call upon me. And this is knowledge talking. Wisdom. This is wisdom talking. You know. Then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord. They would none of my counsel. They despised all my reproof. Reproof is simply asking, what you doing? Get a little more deep in depth to it, but that's basically asking you what you doing. So you can just answer, what you doing. Therefore shall they eat. Hold on. I'm doing this wrong. Because 28, let's do this. 28. Then shall they call upon me, but will not answer. But I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. 29. For that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord. 30. They would none of my counsel, they despised all my reproof. 31. Therefore shall they eat the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own devices. 32. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. But whoso, 33, whoso hearken unto me, wisdom, shall dwell safely, and shall be quieted from fear of evil. Now, what I'm getting from this, right? Because wisdom, my interpretation, it's pretty simple. I'm pretty simplistic to a lot of things, and I can simplify things for people. Well, at least I try to. I'm not always right. So, simple. Knowledge is simply what you know. I know this is a white table, white desk, it's a black screen, TV, that's knowledge, right? That's made out of something hard, don't really know what it is, but it's something hard. To be wise is this material was best suited to make this desk because X, Y, Z. That's what makes that wise, to use the knowledge. See, So, so uh basically what I get from this is I got distracted, the light went out, I don't know what in the world. But when you're not using the knowledge that's given to you, right? You're deemed not being wise because you're not using the knowledge that's given to you. In the beginning of the Bible, I have basically figured out that the Bible is strategically put together. The first beginnings of it is a bunch of stories about, how this happened, where this come to, trials and tribulations of man, right? Then in the middle, you have the book of knowledge, a bunch of wisdom, stuff like that, which is your Psalms and your Proverbs, your Ecclesiastics, and stuff like that, and so on. So then in the end, towards the end, you have the coming of Jesus. Jesus come, walk, this and that. Then he died, get raised again, he go. So then you have the end, right? So then you have the ending part. And the ending part to all of that is the fact that after Jesus leave, his disciples take over and try to take it from there, right? So what I seen was the stories from the beginning. Boom. God introducing himself to man, how he reacts to God introducing himself to him. That's the beginning, right? So you get to see all the trials and falters and failures of man and expectations of God. So in the middle is all of the knowledge and wisdom that should have been obtained from all of the stories that was just told to you in the beginning. Well, if that wasn't good enough, then Jesus came down and then showed the knowledge that you were supposed to get from Proverbs, Ecclesiastics, and Psalm from the stories that were showed to you in the trials and errors of man in the beginning. So God, Jesus came and he walked it out. It was a story. Jesus said, there once was a master of a vineyard and a servant of the master. The master went away. He comes back. He asked him, what's wrong with the vine? Why is it the vines are not producing any fruit in the vineyard? He said, hew it down and discard it. The servant said, no, master. Go and come again, and I will replant it in new soil to see if the progress, and no, he didn't even say see. He said, and then if it should not bear fruit, hew it down and discard it. Servant, Jesus, master, God, vines, us, to be fruitful, love, and multiply, right? So, in this unloving nation that the master seen when he came, right? He seen that it was not bearing fruit, was not loving. So, he said, well, let's get rid of it. Hence, flood. Jesus said, servant said, No, let's replant it. You leave, let me replant it. Let me replant it in new soil. Okay, no longer just thou shalt, thou shalt, thou shalt, thou shalt. No. Let me show them love at the highest that it can be. And then if they don't see my presence of my love and they get infected in them in the new soul, put them in infected, make them a new creature in Christ, put that in them, and then when you come back, if you should see no progress in this vineyard, then we should hew it down and discard them. Right? So, which means, from what this is saying, all of that was done. So all of this knowledge that's being obtained, to walk out that knowledge would be wise. But here wisdom saying, you're not even using me, right? So being that you're not going to use me, right? Then when you call on me, oh, what am I supposed to remember, man, when I'm in this type of situation? I would not answer. When you seek me early, because last night was rough. When I won't being wise. When I won't using wisdom of the knowledge I've already obtained, them some restless nights. But what it says is when you seek me early, you should not find me. So there'll be no answer for not using the knowledge that you've already obtained. And it says, for they hated knowledge and they did not choose the fear of the Lord. Meaning, I can walk in a space in my, right, spirituality. I can walk in a space where I'm thinking, because it oftentimes talks about that. I'm thinking that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, or what I'm doing is not that bad. It's not that bad. I'm cool. He cool. He all right with me. He didn't kill me, so I'm good. So being that his grace sometimes, right? Sometimes his grace spoils us so much that we think we're doing right. So when he cut on the warning light sometimes, we don't even hearken unto the warning light because we're not using the wisdom. We're not being wise with the knowledge that was given. So we don't even hearken to the warning light. So it goes on and it says, they would none of my counsel and despise all my reproof. Meaning, when wisdom said, hold on, is that what you learned? Is that how you got here? You got here thinking like that? You got here moving like that? Well, see, wisdom said, man, I was around for all of that. I was around even for the beginning. I was with God in the beginning. So I ain't see that. So what happens is, therefore shall they eat the fruit of their own way. Because now that you're not, You're not plugged in. So now you start to rationalize and come up with your own way. Sometimes we even come up with our own way and say, God said. And all we did is try to put some math together. And really, it's a bunch of collections of feelings saying that God said. They want God's math. And see, which was wisdom, knowledge. That's God's math, right? So being that we abandon that, we steadfast in our own way and be filled with our own devices. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. Now, get this. Because Jesus said, it's easier for a rich man. He says, it's easier for a camel to get through the eye of a needle than a rich man to get into heaven. Right? Because oftentimes, because of the stuff we're learning and we're gaining this wisdom and we're gaining all this stuff, God is advancing us. As we learn what we learn and we're doing what we're doing, He's advancing us. So when we're doing this, right, we get to a point where we think we're outsmarting God. Because the knowledge that we learn says what we're doing, this ain't what's happening, right? But then we use emotion and we use what we see other people that's supposed to be in our statue doing the same thing. And it's like, hold on, well, they still prospering and they still prospering. Now, right here and there, you read what the knowledge say, but to decide to do what they're doing because it don't look that bad what they're doing is foolish. Because you're simply not using the knowledge that was given to you. So the prosperity of fools will destroy them. Because you think you got all of this from being foolish. No, you got there from being wise. You became foolish when you got there. So now you stuck. But God always give you outside. You can pull a ripcord at any moment and jump out the plane. At any moment, you can. He always get it to you. But whoso hearken unto me dwell safely and shall be quieted from the fear of evil. So when you feel that voice, man, you think you doing right now because you done the math. You hearkened unto wisdom from the knowledge you obtained. It keeps you in a place where you don't have to worry like this. But if you should not, me personally, I don't want to be there. I don't want to, and honestly, I'm going to be honest. I have my stomach. I'm going to work on it. But I'm going to be honest. I've been that fool a minute, right? You know, I've talked about that before, of how I think I outsmart him, or think it's me that's doing what I'm doing, or think it's me that, you know, for real, like I think, I don't know, it is, and I know he's the most gracious and most powerful and the most everything God, man. And I've listened to him and he's put me in places, man, that I never thought I'd be, you know. And it's crazy because I'm thinking the game, right? was to get in and get what you can and manage to get out alive and safe. That was the game, right? So people would teach you all the tools you can so you can jump in, get up, get out, without being locked up, killed, shot up, however. That was the game, right? So, but come to find out, the real game is how long can you, how many free throws can you hit back to back until you miss one, right? Now let me break it down to what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the fact of doing right, making the right decision, which is following the word, because see, we always say we're not perfect. Okay, well, cool, but don't let that interrupt you trying to. See, you will never shoot 10 for 10 if you never tried to shoot 10 for 10. If you always said that somebody's gonna miss 1 out of 10, you will never try to shoot 10 for 10. But get this, sometimes people hit 10 for 10. That's perfect. You hit all 10 shots. Then you have some of us, man, you got Steph Curry's in them. They'll do 10 for 10, 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 9 for 10. Now, the only reason why he hitting that long versus I'm hitting that long is because that's how much practice he put in versus I did. So much muscle memory to then it's just like people that play chess. Some people, man, like at first I used to be like, man, a chess master, man, for him to move like that strategically, he got to be in my head, in his head, No. He has played so much that there's only but a certain amount of moves you can do in this predicament. I don't even have to know what you think or how you thinking. I've already said, if you move right here, I'm going to move right here. If you move right here, I'm going to move right here. If you move right here, I'm going to move right here, because I already seen it. But this comes from practice. Today's time, we're so quick to quit. No strength. Strength to endure until a change. Strength. No, we quick to tap. No, this ain't for me. This ain't my ministry. That's gonna be cracking me up. But with God, right? It's like if doing right by my family, I'm doing right by this, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing this like this, and I'm paying my tithes, and I'm doing it, and see, it can get into a place where for 60 days strong, you've been on it. 60 days, sometimes 90. But think about this. Just sit back and think deeply about a day. But now it's 30 of them that you did of being consistently with God and reading, and once again, go back to take one step here, take two. When you do something like that, when you look up after 30 days, it's a tremendous change in your life that went on. People that you just knew was going to be an enemy forever, not an enemy now. People, your kids that you thought that was going to be what they was going to be and do what they were doing, all of a sudden now they going to school and doing what they're doing and stuff like that because God had put something in their life or some type of situation happened, and then they come in there and they say, Dad, I want to get my life over. That cousin, man, that you always thought that y'all was always gonna be at odds and all of this stuff like that. Then they call you and they say, man, you know what? I miss our relationship. That type of stuff happened. So then what happens is, see, then you move into that stage of, see, it says fear of the Lord is the beginning, but then you become addicted to him. You move from fear to addiction, because now it's like, okay, I don't know too many people, man. Well, no, I do. Some people say, man, when I'm on a hot streak, I'm ready to stop now because I'm too much on a hot streak. I'm bound to mess up. Well, for people like me, I keep going, because if I push this, it's gonna give me this. Then if I push this, it's gonna give me more. Well, why don't I just keep pushing that? And it keep giving me more until it don't give me more. Then if it's another button that comes up that says, why don't I just keep pushing that one? Whereas other people, they say, well, push this button and get that. But what happens if I push this one? See, I'm not that. I'm gonna push this one and see. Well, it did give me something, but it ain't give me that. Well, I stay over here because you telling me to push this one and then give me this. But if I push this one, it gave me something, but it ain't give me that. But just because, yeah, I don't need to do what you tell me to do, I'm not that person. If it worked for me, I'm gonna keep working it until it breaks. So that it's almost like that's the game. And people get offended. Oh, Christianity ain't no game. It ain't no need to. However you look at things to get progress done, you're bound to fall into the realization of what's really going on. Case in point, that's like a person that go deep cover, right? They say them people go deep cover. Sometimes they need a psychiatrist to bring them back out of it because they went so deep in cover that they think that they're that for real. Yeah. It's a dangerous thing to not be conscious of who God really is. To keep placing him as a teddy bear in the sky, or to keep placing him as this person that you can just run over. And I oftentimes say this, how people treat God normally, how I treat God is normally how I treat people. See, I don't get rid of God because he tell me no, or he ain't come through for me on this one. I don't get rid of him. We still talk. We still kick it. That's how I treat people. Whenever he call on me to do things that I really don't want to do, well, I don't know what the outcome will be or whatever, I still do it. Just see if the outcome will be the outcome. I got mothers of my children, man, that ask for things. If I move too slow, cuss me out. I'm talking about a page, a book of text messages. But we'll still arrive at the door. It's dangerous, man. Pastor said something one time, right? That's deep. It's real deep. about a characteristic, right? When you riding down the highway, the speed limit is 55, right? For each time you riding down the highway, and see, I'm gonna talk about me. In Richmond, Virginia, I knew about pretty much all of the pockets where police would park to catch us on that speed radar, right? So I'll be 10, 15 miles over, and when I get to close to the vicinity of where it's at, I slow down, right? And see, this is what he said. He said, now the first time you do it, you know, it's the adrenaline rush that you could get caught and then you make it through. At that time, you should get a conviction, right? But for people like me, right, hard-headed, I don't get the conviction. I think I get the opposite. I get the addiction. So now is, okay, I made it through that time. I just told you how I am. Well, if I do it again, then I'm pretty much going to slow down, or if I get caught sliding through there, then, you know. But I know that's where he at. But each time you do that, you're drifting further. Your connection with God is drifting further and further and further away, because you're feeding that guilty pleasure on the low, right? Low key, that's what you're doing. So eventually, if I keep doing that with, now it's the speed, and then it's with my health, and then it's with my relationships, and then it's with, like, each one, it's a little lag here. I got through with that one a little, and before you know it, it's the snowball effect. It started as something small, and now it became massive. Now you have this big problem, to the point you're like, what happened to me? I was so on it, and I was so close, but all of a sudden, I'm lost. Well, it's easy to come back. But fasting, get yourself back in it. You would. A fast will put you right back in it, you know. But that's something to think about. And that's what happens in relationships. Something that small. I used to say that all the time. They didn't get divorced from the salt on the table. Can you pass me the salt? No, you can get the salt. It's in the middle of the table, where it's closer to you. No, that's not closer to me. That's closer to you. You know what? That's why I don't like this rule. Because you always, and you know what? That's right. Because see, I want a divorce. Yeah, I wanted one too. See, it ain't start from the salt on the table. The divorce happened long time before that. Can you put the clothes in the hamper when you get out the tub, instead of just putting them on the floor? I got you, baby. Craig, see, I told you, can you please put the good? Now, being that I ain't picked the clothes up that time, and she still kept going, and she still loved me, so now I ain't cleaned that dish out. I just threw that in it. So before you know it, I done turned her into a maid, and that's not what she signed up for. Then it's a slap upside the face, a divorce. That's not what she signed up for. But you teach people how you treat you. You teach people how to treat you. What you allow is what they're gonna do. What you don't allow is what they're not gonna do. Simple and plain. That's enough for today.